In this video, we're going to model ropes using modifiers in Blender 2.8. So let's begin with a new file. Let's turn on the screencast so you can see what I'm doing, and I'm going to delete the cube, and from the top view I'm going to add a circle. In the operator I'm going to divide the amount of vertices by half. And in edit mode, I'm going to select half of the circle and I'm going to delete the vertices. I'm going to select everything and move this on the y-axis, holding down Ctrl and align this vertex to the origin point. In object mode and the front view, I'm going to rotate this in the x-axis by 90 degrees. And I'm going to apply the rotation. Now, back in the top view, I'm going to add a curve that we're going to use later. In edit mode, I'm going to press SY0 so I have a straight line, and I'm going to align this vertex to the origin point. Press G, X and hold down Ctrl. And again in the object mode and in the front view, I'm going to rotate this. And I'm going to scale this up. Maybe a little more, and I apply the rotation. So now I begin with the modifiers. First, we're going to add a mirror modifier, then a screw modifier. And if we set the screw amount to 2.5, now we can see the rope. We're going to add a few more iterations. And to shape this rope, we're going to add a curve modifier. We're going to select the curve and the deformation axis, which in this case is Z or C. And now if we did this curve, we can play with this shape for a rope. And the only thing that we have to do is add more iterations. And that's it. We have a rope, and we can edit the curve to play with the shape. For the 3 strands rope, we're going to do basically the same. So, the top view, let's add a circle. Let's divide the amount of vertices by half. And in edit mode, let's delete half of the circle. We're going to select everything and align this with the origin point. And in the front view, we're going to rotate this 90 degrees in the x-axis. Now again in the top view, we're going to add a triangle, so let's select a circle and set the amount of vertices to 3. This is going to be our guide for symmetry. So now let's enable the snap tool, select vertex and center. And now if we move this object, if we move this, now it's aligned there, and we're going to add an empty, and instead of the mirror modifier, we're going to use an array modifier. We're going to uncheck relative offset, and we're going to check object offset, and we're going to select the empty. And now let's apply the rotation here and set the origin point back to the center, choosing 3D cursor. And now let's go to the empty, and here in item let's rotate this. If we type 360 and divide this by 3, and in the array modifier let's set the count to 3. Now we have what we need. And if we go back to the edit mode and select this vertex as active and set this to active element, we go back to top view and we can rotate this until everything is lined up. As we can see here, this is aligned to the y-axis. And now in object mode we can delete the triangle. And now we can add the skew modifier. So let's set the skew amount to 5. And here we have our rope. Now what we need is to add a curve. And I'm going to local view to edit this curve, same as before. And in front view we rotate this, we apply the rotation, and we go back and scale this up. So I know this is huge, but you can scale this down later. And we're going to add the curve modifier, the deformation axis, and the object. And we can edit this. To give a rope some shape. And what we need to do is again add more iterations. And that's it. We have our rope.